Some stories begin with a scream, others with silence. This one begins with a doll, a porcelain face, a red ribbon, and glass eyes that never blinked. At least, that's what Emma thought. Music fades into quiet ticking of a clock. Part 1. The Gift. Emma was 27, a quiet woman living alone in a small apartment above a bakery in a town called Maple Hollow. She worked at the local library, spent her evenings reading, and had never believed in anything supernatural until the day the package arrived. It came without a return address, a plain brown box, a bit damp at the corners as if it had been left in the rain. Inside was a porcelain doll. It wore an old-fashioned blue dress, its blonde curls stiff and brittle, and a small note pinned to its sleeve that read, "Take care of her. She doesn't like being alone." Sound, paper rustles, faint wind chime. Emma frowned. "Who sends a doll like this?" she muttered, setting it on her kitchen table. She didn't remember ordering anything, especially not a creepy antique. But curiosity won. She set it on the living room shelf next to her books, dusted her hands, and forgot about it for a while. Part 2. The First Night. Sound. Faint ticking clock. Soft hum of refrigerator that night. As Emma brushed her teeth, she thought she heard a thump, soft but distinct, like something falling onto carpet. She froze. "Probably the cat upstairs again," she whispered to herself. But she didn't have upstairs neighbors. The apartment above hers had been empty for months. Sound. Slow footsteps on carpet. Her heart quickened. She tiptoed into the living room. The shelf was empty. The doll was gone. She looked around, and there it was, sitting neatly on the couch, head tilted slightly to the side, facing her. Emma exhaled shakily, half laughing. Okay, maybe I moved it earlier and forgot. But deep down, she knew she hadn't. She placed it back on the shelf and went to bed. Sleep didn't come easy. Every creak, every shadow seemed alive. When she finally drifted off, she dreamed of footsteps, small, deliberate ones, pacing beside her bed. Part 3. The Footsteps. Sound. Morning birds faintly outside window the next morning. She told herself it was all in her head, until she noticed the floor. Tiny wet footprints trailed from the living room to her bedroom door. They were small, the size of a child's. Emma stared at them for a long time, her stomach tightening. "Maybe I spilled water," she murmured, though the prints were too precise, each toe clearly defined. She cleaned them up, locked the doll inside her closet, and went to work. But even there, strange things followed. She heard faint music, like a child's lullaby, from somewhere between the shelves. Once, a book fell open on its own. It was a story about haunted toys. When Emma got home that night, her closet door was open, and the doll was sitting on her bed, hands resting neatly in its lap. Sound, creak, whispering wind. Part 4. The Voice. Emma decided she was done. She put the doll in a box and tossed it in the dumpster behind her building. Sound, box thuds, lid slams. When she returned inside, she felt lighter, relieved. She made tea, curled up on the couch, and turned on the TV. That's when the static started. The channel flickered, and she heard it. A faint whisper through the static. "Why did you throw me away, Emma?" She dropped her mug. Hot tea spilled across her lap. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." The TV flickered again, showing a flash of the doll's face, its glass eyes staring, lips slightly parted, and then black screen, silence. She rushed outside, heart pounding, and tore open the dumpster. Empty. The doll was gone. Sound, wind gusts, distant whispering. That night, the whispering continued, sometimes from the closet, sometimes from under the bed. Words she couldn't quite understand, until one night she heard clearly, "Don't leave me alone again." Part 5. The Stranger. By the third day, Emma hadn't slept. Her eyes were hollow, her voice shaking as she called the police. "Officer? MAAM. What exactly is the problem?" "Emma. Someone's been breaking into my apartment. They keep moving things, leaving footprints." "Officer, any signs of forced entry?" "Emma. Number, but the doll. It keeps coming back." "Pause, officer. The doll." He sighed, clearly unconvinced, but sent a patrol to check. When they arrived, everything looked normal. No footprints, no doll. The officer gave her a sympathetic smile. "Maybe you should get some rest, ma'am." She nodded, embarrassed, until she saw something behind him. Sitting quietly on the couch, the doll, holding a small folded piece of paper in its hands. Emma's blood ran cold. She took it and opened it slowly. It read, "You promised to take care of me." The officer saw her face pale. "What does it say?" he asked. "Nothing," she whispered, hiding the note. He left soon after. That night, Emma locked all the doors, shut every light, and sat in her bed, clutching her phone. Sound, clock ticking louder. Then faint, dragging sound on floorboards. "Go away," she whispered. Sound stopped. Then tap, tap, tap right outside her bedroom door. Part 6. The Origin. The next morning, she called the antique shop downtown. Maybe someone could tell her where the doll came from. The old shopkeeper's voice was raspy on the phone. "Describe her," he said. "Porcelain face, blue dress, red ribbon." Long pause. "That doll was destroyed years ago. Burned. After a fire in a house on Maple Street." "Destroyed?" Emma whispered. "A little girl died in that fire, holding it. They said she loved that doll more than anything. Wouldn't let go even when the flames static crackles on the line, sir." Faint whisper interrupts the call. "Don't leave me again." The line went dead. Emma dropped her phone. The temperature in the room fell sharply. She could see her breath. Slowly, she turned. The doll was sitting on the table, blackened at the edges, like something that had once burned. Sound, faint crackling fire. Child's humming. "You burned," Emma stammered. "You're not real." The doll's head tilted. The lips parted slightly. "Then why are you so afraid of me?" Part 7. The Final Night. Emma ran. She packed a bag, called her friend Rachel, and begged to stay the night. "Rachel," Emma, slow down. "You sound crazy." "Emma, please, Rachel. I just need one night away." Rachel sighed. "Fine, come over." That night, for the first time in days, Emma slept. Deep, dreamless sleep. But Rachel didn't. At 3:14 a.m., she woke to a faint sound in the hallway. Click, 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 like small porcelain shoes on hardwood. She got up, thinking Emma was awake. But when she looked, Emma was asleep. The sound led her to the front door. Something small sat there, facing it. The doll. Rachel's hand trembled as she reached for it. Its glass eyes reflected the dim light, and then it blinked. Sound, sharp inhale, scream cut short. Morning came. Emma woke to silence. The air felt strange, heavy. "Rachel?" she called. No answer. She stepped into the living room and froze. Rachel sat on the floor, pale, motionless, her eyes wide open, her mouth twisted in silent terror. In her lap sat the doll. Its porcelain hand rested gently on Rachel's cheek. The red ribbon around its neck was gone. Emma looked down and saw it tied tightly around her own wrist. Sound, faint music box starts playing again. "Take care of her," a voice whispered. "She doesn't like being alone." Music slows, fades. Door creaks shut. Then silence. The end.